Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. And today, we're being joined by Darryll Stinson, author of Who Am I After Sports? An Athlete's Roadmap to Discover New Purpose and to Live Fulfilled. Darryll, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Well, we are thrilled to have you. Are you ready to begin?
Oh, man, I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. Everybody, I hope you got your notepads, and if you don't and you're driving, please don't try to do both.
All right. Question number 1. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
That's a great question. Consistency beats intensity every time. I think sometimes we just start off and we want to just do it all fast, and then we write all day for 2 days in a row, and then we don't write it all for like 5 days, and we forget, and we lose our place, and then we set it down. And I just think start with little small chunks and just be consistent and diligent, because consistency beats intensity.
And what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
This one's hard. There's a lot of challenges, but for me, it was knowing when it's done, because I just felt like every time I felt it was done, I learned more and I wanted to add and tweak. And I think the hardest thing is just putting it out there and putting a period, even though you still want to tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that has worked well.
Sharing my story and my why behind it, and also partnering with influencers. It's just a multiplier effect. If you only got your circle of people, but you want to get into the hands of other people who has an audience that would care about the topic that your book addresses.
So what are some of your strategies to connect with those influencers?
Man, just be authentic. Start off with service. Number one, see what they need. The old Zig Ziglar, if you help enough people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. Just do your research. Don't just reach out and pitch 100,000 people. Look at what audience they have, how they show up online, what content they have, and then make custom tailor your pitch to something they care about. That's how I got Jack Canfield to endorse the book. That's how I got Heisman Trophy winner to Danny Warfel to endorse the book. So it's just about really paying attention and actually doing your research and making a pitch that aligns with something that they have going on in their life.
And how many influencers did you reach out to?
Man, I think I had over 60 help with the book launch. So really was blessed to have them come on. I had a live show. I would bring them on, and I would send them all the copy and images and press kits and anything like that. And we did some co-ventures, and honestly, it's still going on because we had to schedule some things, a couple months when their schedule freed up. So, don't just try to sell to people, sell through people.
Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
Yeah, I think for me, it's either the book of Proverbs, because there's so much practical wisdom there, or 5 Levels of Leadership, because it really helped me more than any other leadership book that I can think of, have a sense of awareness of kind of, where leaders at, where I'm at with leaders. And so I love that book. That's one of the first ones I give all growing leaders.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
Man, it's often quoted, but it just means so much to me, and I'll quote just a piece of it. I'm actually reading the book right now by Marianne Williamson. It's called Return to Love, but the quote is, "Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure."
And why that quote?
It's true. I struggled being a suicide survivor. I struggled with insecurity so much, hated the way I talked, hated the way I looked, and didn't think I had any potential purpose beyond sports. But it was something about this quote that helped me to reframe how I saw fear And I saw that, man, I think part of it is not that I was inadequate or insecure, but it's that I am powerful beyond measure, and I was afraid to give myself permission to believe that. And so that quote really helped me. And then if you read the entire quote in its entirety, it's very rich about what that does for others when you walk in that power.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, the main thing is, we're all the masters of our own universe, right? And it's really about how we look at our lives on a daily basis. I personally have struggled with depression my entire life, so I totally get that. I mean, you've got to be able to, realize that, you're the one that can get you out of this. And I think that quote's just a great example of that.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And thanks for sharing that too, because it normalizes the conversation. Nobody wants to be the only person in the room who stands up and claps, but when everybody does it, we all chime in. So more people come out and say, "Hey, I struggle with depression," and normalizes the conversation so that more people can be vulnerable.
Well, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Just hit me up on Instagram at Stinson Speaks, STINSPEAKS. I was like, no, I said that wrong. It's STINSONSPEAKS. I was like, what's missing there? So that's Stinson Speaks, and I love to connect. Just reach out.
Excellent. Well, thank you once again for being part of the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you. Wishing you all the best too.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.